Hello, everybody. John McElroy here, talking all things automotive. Today, I'm talking with Italdesign. We've got Fabrizio Mina and David Kalinowski. Did I get that right, David?
Perfect.
I got it right. Fantastic. Because much to my surprise, Italdesign has opened a design office in Detroit. And I mean, look, this is a very well-known Italian design company. It's been around for a long time. So Fabrizio, I've got to ask you, why did you open an office in Detroit?
Thanks, John, for asking. So we are really excited, and then we opened this engineering office, and here because then we want to expand. We want to have a window here on the biggest market in the world for automotive, and the reason why is because then we work many years from Europe, and when we started to reach out and working with some customer, some OEMs here, they ask us to get closer, and this is the reason why, because we want to get closer to our customers. We want to have a bridge, let me say, all the interfaces between Italdesign and the potential customer will be here, US, will be Americans, talking with Americans, understanding the needs here in the market, and then working with our team as a back office in Italy. And as a primary goal is to grow in the engineering side, even though we are also having already now opportunities in the design, because as you said, we are really known in the design. So this is the first task to explain to our customers that we are not only a design company, but then we are providing engineering services.
Yeah, which is something of a surprise to me because I know Italdesign for all its famous designs. You know, it's really been a trendsetter. But David, tell us about that. What kind of engineering services do you offer?
Thanks, John. So in short, we act like an OEM. We can take the project from a napkin sketch, if that's what the customer has, all the way through to start of production, and even to help support beyond that in the production phase. Within our offices in Italy, in our headquarters, we have operations for basically a pilot plant. We have a substantial amount of testing, and we can do, if you think about the typical V development cycle, you know, going through that design concept phase, what should the vehicle look like? What should the target customer be? To defining the specifications for the individual components, designing them, engineering them, and then going through the full validation, crash test, etc. And it really depends on what the customer needs. You know, the customer may say, I need everything from A to Z. The customer may come to us and say, we have an issue with a crash test that we need some type of solution for. Can you do that? We can. We are solution providers.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's pretty thorough. Yeah, you could almost do an entire turnkey operation minus manufacturing, it sounds like.
Exactly. That's our, I'll say, bread and butter. If we can do that, we can do that very efficiently, especially if the customer is willing to hand over the reins, so to speak. But even then, within our operations, we have the capability of doing a small amount of manufacturing as well, more in the kind of the ultra limited series production.
Mm-hmm. Fabrizio, I'm interested in your business plan here because, as you know, GM, Ford, and Stellantis have major design studios in the Detroit area. Toyota's even got a production design studio. So does Nissan. I'm not sure if Hyundai Kia have that. I know they have a tech center, but if they already have these design studios, where do you see business opportunities for Italdesign?
So again, Italdesign here, as you said, is really known in the design area. So if we are in contact with the new OEMs or startups, for sure we can help them for seize the positioning and designing the vehicle. But then again, our first goal is to create here an engineering entity. For just give you an idea, John, on 1,300 people that we have worldwide as Italdesign, 800 people are on the engineering side. So then you can understand the capability, the capacity that we have internally, and then the solution that we can provide also just on the engineering side.
So do you see automakers using Italdesign when they have so many programs going that you're going to get extra work that they can't handle internally, or do you think you'll get entire projects?
I would say on both sides. So first, on projects that maybe they are not in their main pipeline, let's say, that they need an external eye or understanding if they can do something different, or even for main projects, considering that there was a little bit a turmoil, and then in terms of know-how, keeping internally the know-how, or if they need to develop with a different approach, with some different solutions, we are here as an external R&D for them, providing new ideas, new solutions, top-edge solutions, also in the engineering side.
Mm-hmm. David, you mentioned the broad capabilities that you've got. Well, where do you think most of the business is going to be? What kind of engineering services do you think companies in this area will turn to Italdesign for?
It's with broad capability, it's hard to narrow it down to one specific area. Kind of piggybacking on what Fabrizio mentioned, I think the top hat development, let's say the upper body, looking at both exterior and interior, it fits nicely within our wheelhouse. And what I mean by that is we're known for the design aspect, as mentioned, but the strong engineering capability behind that. And I think the top hat, which is kind of the aesthetic side of things, mixed with the engineering, it's a natural progression for us to kind of take that responsibility. And I can see a lot of customers coming to us for that.
Mm-hmm.
John, sorry for stopping.
Go ahead.
Again, as you were asking before, the first task for us is to explain to our customer what we can bring here to them. This is the first task, because then many customers, for example, they know us like Italdesign. Then again, we are one word, Italdesign. And then we are not here, is not really a design company in 58 years. So from 68, basically, we grow up, and then from the design, we can provide a complete vehicle. And then, as I said, now the big chunk of our guys in terms of know-how, everything is the engineering, even though the design is always top-notch, is really something really incredible. But then, as you said, maybe some big OEMs, they have their own studio, their own people, and then they don't need immediately for this. Hopefully, in the future, we can help in this area too.
Mm-hmm. And David, designers often come up with beautiful shapes, and then the manufacturing people or the engineering people take a look at it and go, yeah, but it's impossible to make. Is some of your engineering expertise in being able to bring the designer's design to reality in terms of engineering and manufacturing?
Absolutely. So historically, and you kind of touched on it right there, John. If I look at typically design, engineering, manufacturing, they're all kind of consistently butting heads, most automakers. But that conflict also can bring new designs and new opportunities. One benefit I've seen within our 800 people in engineering that Fabrizio mentioned is that the engineers have a good understanding of design and the need to challenge, I'll say, the status quo. On the flip side, the designers also have a good understanding of what's practical and what's realistic. And then that they work very harmoniously with each other to be able to deliver that.
Mm-hmm. Fabrizio, I mentioned some of the large automakers that are here in the Detroit area. What about some of the startups or the new ones? Do you see opportunity there as well?
Absolutely, yes. So this is also the reason why we decided to open here in Michigan, because then we want to stay closer. So, many startups maybe based on the West Coast, so they can start with some design over there, but then when they need engineering, the engineers are more, is easier to find the skilled resources and high qualified resources here in Michigan. So and then in this way, we can have, as I said in the beginning, a bridge between Italy that is 6 hours from here and the West Coast that is 3 hours. And then also for sure, if there is a need, it's easier to fly over in California from here.
Mm-hmm.
So the startups for sure are a big opportunity for us, because they can use interior design like the right hand. So then we are there manufacturing engineering guys, the engineering guys, and the design guys, so we can help them to really put on the market something that is feasible. Because as you said before, sometimes they are designing something that then to bring to reality, the cost is really high for what they are expecting. And then internally in our department, in our engineering department, we have also just a department for the cost evaluation, and really helping the customer to keep tracking on the cost and keep the cost really where they are expecting.
Mm-hmm. And I remember what I wanted to ask you. Suppliers, what opportunity do you see with them? As you know, most suppliers that do interior components and stuff like that for cars have a design studio.
Yeah.
That's not well known in the industry, but what opportunities do you see with suppliers?
Like the tiers, the tier ones, you are saying. I would say that there could be also an opportunity there, especially if they want to have an approach a little bit different than what they are having today. So, because again, as you said, they have internally some designers, some engineer, but then if they need something different that their customer they're asking for, then we are here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, as Dave said, we are like a small OEM, so we are used to design for some customer everything. So we are the guys providing the engineering, that this engineering is going to the tier ones. So then we can provide some design for seats, some design for interior, some design that the tiers that can really do a step up.
I'm curious too, Fabrizio. Italdesign is now owned by Audi.
Yes.
How do you keep the separation of church and state, so to speak, when your customers wonder, wait a minute, why should we bring Italdesign in and all these advanced programs? How do we make sure it doesn't leak over to the owners?
Let me answer this way. I think there are few suppliers, not only in engineering but also in the manufacturing, that are not owned by a big corporation. I know for a fact that there are, for example, a lot of manufacturing companies owned by Chinese, but then this doesn't matter. I mean, what is important is that so we are working with everybody. We are the one that we know how to secure the information, and we are sometimes with the startups explaining to them how to secure the information, how we needed to really be sure that everything is separated, because this is really mandatory and important for the company. So Audi will never ever ask with who we are working with. They will just ask what is the revenue, but not asking timing or not asking suppliers. This is something that is in our books, so it's clear.
I see. Very good. What am I missing? Anything that either one of you would like to add?
So I guess a couple of things that come to mind, John, that, really for our potential customers, why choose Italdesign? There's a lot of engineering companies out there that will tout similar services to what we offer. And many of us in the automotive industry who have been around for many, many years in the US have had varying degrees of success and maybe issues with such outsourcing of activities. But really comes down to, since we think like an OEM, we're not just data in, data out. We're there to really try to help the customer achieve their end goal. So it may be an interior development, but we're thinking, okay, more strategically with that. And it's not just, okay, here's a surface, please engineer it. We're thinking about, okay, does this make sense? How should we do this differently? And providing a better solution overall to the customers. And then we have additional tools at our disposal. So for example, a lot of automakers during the development phase will do 3D full-size models for ergonomics, ingress, egress, evaluations, etc. Those ergo models take a lot of time and cost, and therefore cost to make that assessment. We have our own patented technology where we have kind of a virtual seating book where it's modular. You can actually do anything from a sports car up to a commercial vehicle with just a few parameter changes, and also incorporate haptic touches and some VR goggles to basically simulate the entire vehicle environment on a moment's notice. And you can do iterations on the fly like that. Maybe you can do offsets of surfaces, drawings, in virtually, to fully experience being like in that vehicle, as opposed to taking 8 to 12 weeks to mill up a buck, as an example. And then we're also always forward thinking. So we're looking at sustainability. You mentioned about, how do we work with suppliers? We're always looking for those suppliers that are looking at different technologies and how to incorporate those technologies into an automotive design. Great example is that for upcoming events here in April in the region, both Car Body Experience and World Congress, we'll be there where we're showcasing an additive manufacturing part that we did for a supercar, where it replaced, I think, 20, 30 different brackets. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, with a additive manufacturing kind of organic looking shape to achieve the end goal. And so it's just kind of to showcase, guys, we're not just data in, data out, we're solution providers.
Exactly. And then, summarizing. So thanks, Dave, because you touched a really great point regarding the sustainability. So our guys in the R&D, they are not only just developing cool solution for the UX UI, for example, where we have 200 people developing a nice software, nice dashboards, but then also think about, okay, what can we do for the future? For example, so we are working with the Nike Grind for using this new material that is reusable material from the gym shoes for the flooring of the car, or some cool texture that is really soft touch. And then we are working with a company that is reusing the marble powder from Italy. And then this material is really soft, is really, let me say, for the sustainability, incredible. Like, for example, our guys in the manufacturing side, they develop with our engineering guys linen fiber versus carbon fiber. So summarizing, I don't think that here in America there are a lot of companies like Italdesign where we are not a design company, even though we have 60 people there. We are not engineering company, 800 people there. That is maybe sometimes bigger than an OEM. And we are not only a manufacturing company, even though we can provide cool, really nice supercars, 100 per years. But then our guys, they can provide the solution. If you have a problem, if you want to go in some direction, we will be the guy providing an idea and solution for that.
Very good. I want to thank you for your time today. Very interesting. As somebody who lives in the Detroit area, I love the fact that Italdesign is locating here. And good luck to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.